Hi there, Lewis Clifford here, and today we're going to have a question and answer session for the Internet Marketing Bootcamp. So this is something I want to do on a regular basis for you guys who've taken the Internet Marketing Bootcamp. So if you have any questions about SEO, Internet Marketing, affiliate marketing, or any of the reviews of some of the courses I've done and purchased, then don't forget, drop us a line or drop us a question either at via the email or the Facebook page, which is Facebook Internet Marketing Bootcamp HQ, Internet Marketing Bootcamp HQ on Facebook. Should be a link down below. Drop us a question, and on the next Q&A session, hopefully I'll try to answer some of those questions. So this is the Q&A session for May 2012. So let's get down to it with some questions that I've had from some Internet Market Bootcampers. So here's the first question. So I had a question here, how can I utilize Facebook for bricks and mortar businesses? So those people who have a product or service they sell, not necessarily online, but want to promote that business using a website or a blog, etc., and using the SEO skills that they have developed and learn under the Internet Marketing Bootcamp HQ. How can they use Facebook to sell this product? So for instance, if you're a plumber or something like that, how can you use Facebook for a bricks and mortar business? Now, we use Facebook in Internet Marketing for a number of reasons. Social signals are really important in Internet marketing and in Google rankings. Now, what social signals are where your content or any contribution that you sort of give to the internet is shared on social networks or on tweets, etc., etc. And Facebook, of course, is the biggest social network there is. So if links to blogs or domains are being shared, although Google isn't following that link juice, what it is following is the sort of the use of that, recognizing that it's being socially shared and that social networks share this. So this will help your main blog rank because of that activity, and the Google search engine sort of recognize that there's this social activity going on. Okay, so that's one reason why we use it. But a lot of things that we do in the Internet Marketing Bootcamp don't have one reason that we do it. The other reason is that Facebook is a genuine way to drive traffic. A lot of people use Facebook to discover things, and there is an obsession that we've had, and I'm guilty of preaching it as much as anybody else, about being fixated on getting all your traffic from the search engines. And you know that traffic doesn't just come from search engines, and in a post sort of Google Penguin, Google Panda a world that we live in now, which I'll come to in another question, but in that world finding other sources of traffic has become ever important, and Facebook is a great way of driving traffic. To say, people find things on Facebook, and Facebook becomes almost its own sort of search engine. So there's another third thing, because some people spend so much time on Facebook. It's a great way to discover things, and it's a great way to raise your profile, whether it is for a bricks or mortar business. And then the third thing is, how can you really utilize, and I guess will answer the nub of the question, how can you really utilize Facebook for a bricks and mortar type business, so an offline business effectively? Facebook is a great way to communicate with your customers. I do it through the Internet Marketing Bootcamp. I'll update my statuses, I'll share links, and all the people that have liked the Internet Marketing Bootcamp HQ, which I hope you guys are those people. If not, please go on and like my Facebook page, Internet Marketing Bootcamp HQ, another plug. But all the people that are engaged in that page will receive those status updates. So it doesn't matter so much what your Facebook page looks like, because once they've visited it, they're very unlikely to visit it again. But what the effect of a Facebook page is that every time you update your status of that Facebook page, if they've liked it, it will appear in their sort of news feed in their Facebook. And I'll give you a few examples so you can see. So it's a great way to engage with your customers. So if you've got a special offer, you know, people are spending status update. If you want to sort of promote a new promotion, just do a status update. If you want to ask questions, find out what people
want from your business. Facebook is a great way to engage your customers in conversation. And by engaging them in conversation, you are underlining your authority in that key area. And of course, authority is really important. And with that authority, they are more likely, and because you're engaging with them, they're more likely to buy products from you. And of course, I guess all of that is having a Facebook page also gives credibility, because after all, you know, lots of major brands have Facebook pages. So it works on a number of levels, but for an offline business, the key thing really is A, giving you credibility that you have a Facebook page that's professionally run, and B, engaging with your customers, driving people towards your Facebook page, and then once they've liked your page, you can engage with them, update them with information, and those updates and information will appear in their status feed. So that's how you can really utilize Facebook. That's the more powerful use of Facebook, is being able to engage with your customers. And the more you engage, the more likely they are going to buy from you, whether it's an online product or an offline product. So I hope I've answered those questions. If you have any other Facebook questions, then do let me know. Thank you. So what is the best WordPress theme to use? Well, it's really like the old adage, how long is a piece of string? Ultimately, you know, there are thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not probably hundreds of thousands of themes. I don't know how many WordPress themes there are. There are so many, and new themes are being created and added. And there are loads and loads of free themes, and there are loads and loads of more premium paid themes. And you know, the options out there are countless, and you can find a theme that suits you. So there are loads of themes to choose from. So it's about finding a theme that really suits what it is you're selling. Now, personally, and again, it comes down often to personal taste, I have a few simple rules when I'm picking my WordPress themes. One is I don't like them to be too themey. What I mean is I'd rather create my own style, and the way to do that is to find a very simple site and then add your own headers and banners. So I like a clean WordPress theme, something with nice clean graphics, not too over jazzy, but if it has some sort of social sharing, you know, Twitter and Facebook things already built in, then I think that always looks really cool and professional for your website. But really, you know, I like to keep it simple, and then I add the layers that I need. So for instance, you know, I'll get a header design which will then make it distinct. So you've started off with a fairly blank, simple canvas, and then you find a header or create a header, and you could easily pay somebody on Fiverr to do it, or if you know a friend who's a designer, or even a designer yourself, find something that's very specific and works exactly to what it is that you're trying to promote. So I'll show you a few examples and talk you through, for instance, Internet Marketing Bootcamp, which is a very simple, clean looking, I think cool looking design, and then all I've done is added my own header and logo to it in a certain sort of typeface style that I think sums up what, you know, the Internet Marketing Bootcamp approach. So when choosing a theme, try and find a recommended theme, a theme ideally that WordPress use. I mean, the main WordPress theme I've seen used loads and loads of times and works really well if you can make it distinct, i.e. find the appropriate pictures or the header, and all you need to really do is just to change the header to make it distinct and unique to you, and then the content will make it even more unique. So
with WordPress themes, keep it simple, and also try and find sites that look, WordPress themes that look, you know, professional and not too dodgy. When you sort of start going off piste, as it were, you know, looking for WordPress themes that aren't maybe in, you know, recommended by the WordPress.org kind of group, you're more at risk sometimes of your site being people being able to hack your site. It has happened to me, but generally most themes that you find, you know, are going to be fine. And you know, I'd only recommend buying one if you felt that your website, you know, you wanted to, to look really, really sort of professional and unique. So if you're selling, for instance, website design or SEO services or blogging services to people, then that's a great way, because obviously you're passing that charge on to them, and you can find some great WordPress themes that's really customizable and adaptable to make really whizzy professional looking websites as opposed to blogs. So more like a conventional website and less like a blog, which some people want. But you know, so ultimately the WordPress theme is really down to choice, but I like to keep mine clean and simple looking, and then I add its own identity, you know, with the right kind of headers or logos or you know, pictures accordingly. So I hope that answers the question. I know it's a bit vague, but ultimately it's all a matter of taste and trying to understand your customer and the kind of people you want to visit the site. Are they going to be engaged by that theme? So you can look at other competing sites and just see if it's a site that ultimately you would want to visit, and try to create a site that you think is one that you as a customer would be happy and convinced by, that it looks professional, etc. But ultimately that's how I pick a theme. Another great question here: what can you do if your site's been hit by the Google Penguin update? I've talked about this before, and I've demonstrated my favourite sites, my own personal site, top10androidapps.org. Basically, the numbers went from 300 odd visitors a day down to 16 overnight, and it's been round about that 16 or 20 visitors, from consistently being between 300 and 400 visitors a day overnight because of the Google Penguin change. So it can affect anybody. My site, I don't consider, that particular site, I don't consider it spammy. There's no on-page SEO that is spammy or black hat. There's no, I haven't stuffed it full of keywords or something like that personally. I think the only issue is that most of the links, anchor text links coming back to it, are all the same keywords. In that case, top 10 Android apps, top 10 Android apps, top 10 Android apps. I've used the same anchor text consistently, and that apparently is one of the key indicators to Google to sort of, you know, punish the site. So what can you do about it? Well, there'll be lots of people out there claiming that they know what you can do about it, how to change it, how to get back your rankings. Now, I mentioned earlier about us all being obsessed, and you know, I'm guilty of it too, but I've realised now that it's not necessarily the right approach. All being totally obsessed by getting on the first page of, you know, of Google, and yes, that's a great way of getting, you know, traffic. My site, Top 10 Android Apps, is no longer on the first page of Google where it was, and that's why it got 300 to 400 visitors a day. Like, I can't even find it now, so I know it's been punished. But it made me realise that you know, a lot of the traffic doesn't just come from Google. A lot of them comes from YouTube, because I do YouTube videos reviewing Android apps. So, plus I have a Facebook page, my Top 10 Android Apps. Lots of views, visitors and traffic comes from that Facebook page. So what can you do if you've been hit by Penguin? Well, if people say that they have the solution to fix it in the rankings, I'd maybe take that with a pinch of salt. Matthew Cutts from Google himself, and the search, sort of the people who run the search engine part of Google, has said that basically their advice, and I'm paraphrasing here, is to, you know, if you've been affected by Google Penguin, start again, which is basically them saying there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I don't think you need to be that radical, but what I would probably do is stop focusing on assuming that all your on-page SEO is, you know, white hat, you haven't done anything sneaky there, you've, say, followed the Internet Marketing Bootcamp. When it comes to creating backlinks, I would not focus so much on having exact, exact key phrase anchor text. So in this case, top 10 Android apps as my anchor text, which then provides a link back. I'd perhaps not do that so much, but what I would do is provide lots of good quality content, because ultimately in the world that we live now on the internet with social bookmarking, social sharing, if your content is good, people will share it. So I've loaded, done video reviews on YouTube for my top 10 Android apps, and they've got tens of thousands of views, and that drives traffic. So what am I doing? I'm doing more YouTube video reviews, creating more quality content and updating on a regular basis. And in a few weeks I'll have an update to see whether I've driven that traffic up, whether or not it rises organically and naturally back in the search engines on Google, or traffic comes to it anyway. Ultimately, I don't mind. If I'm driving traffic to it, I don't really mind where that traffic comes from. And if it's not from Google, but from YouTube or from Facebook or from others, from Twitter, whatever, then so be it. So what I'd say is I would focus on creating good quality content. Don't focus too much on the off-page SEO, but keep using YouTube, keep using social, bookmarking sites, and share that content as much as you can. And over time, new keywords, people will come to you from different, through different keywords you didn't even know about, and then you can focus on those. And I would spread the keywords that you do focus on, rather than focus on just one keyword phrase. Focus on a few more. Have a look in your Google Analytics, see how people are visiting your site. If there is lots of visitors coming from a different source, focus on that different source for a while. And I think over time, you'll start to build up traffic again. And, if you've been hit by the penguin, you may not rise again in the search engines for those particular keywords, but you might rise again in Google for other keywords and get traffic from other sources. So I hope that makes sense. I wouldn't give up, but I would just start concentrating more on creating great shareable content, especially utilizing YouTube videos, which I've talked about before, and you should check out the modules I've done on creating great videos on YouTube. So I hope that's answered the question. Beware people offering solutions that will reinstate your websites back on page 1 for those keywords. I'm not totally convinced, and there is no hard evidence that is possible, but you can restore traffic to your site. It may just come from different sources, whether that's different keywords or from different sources such as YouTube or Facebook, etc. So just create that content that's really shareable. I hope that will make sense. Anyway, thank you. Well, I hope you found that useful. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I just wanted to answer some of the questions the best I could. And again, we'll have another question and answer session in June. So get your questions in. Again, visit us on the Facebook. I'll leave a link down below somewhere, or send me an email. Again, I'll send an email address, or drop a comment on the Internet Marketing Bootcamp blog. But get those questions in. The more questions, the more you engage, then the more useful it is to sort of share this information. And I hope you found it useful, and I'd love to hear your comments. So please, provide some comments, give me some feedback. Is this the kind of thing that you find useful, etc.? Do I ramble too much? Probably no. Don't do that. I probably know. Yeah. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you. So that's all for now. Until next time. Ciao.